Greetings, everyone. Welcome to that time of the day where we get to interact with people that we love and look up to. Okay, so at this point, every single one of us, at least have been a student, are a student right now, right? Uh, so while being students, one thing which really fascinates us, or let's say one common thing that we would love to ask someone is how can I be better? It's not about marks all the time, I agree. How can I be better with respect to uh, getting in the knowledge that I would love to imbibe in. So that's exactly where this session today comes in. On top of that, one common interest that we all have is about startups. We love startups, don't we? Can I see yes in the chat if you love startups or if you're intending to build one? Guys, faster. Okay. Good to see the response. Cool. This is exactly what I want throughout the session. So, all right. So today we are on a spree of building startups. India has been excellent in terms of amazing, in terms of building unicorns, and we are known for it. At the same time, every single one of us would love to be a part of startup or at least want to start up on your own. Cool. In this time, one thing which is missing is the level to which we get a support from. And that's exactly where we are trying to bridge the gap today with the session Building a Startup by Akhil. Akhil is the co-founder of Quest. So if you don't know what Quest is something like, okay, this is what the description says. Just like how GPS identifies your location, Quest identifies what your current academic position is and how can it be better. So yeah, okay, let's get started. Let's hear from the founder himself. Akhil, welcome to BlueLearn.
Thank you, Chandan. Glad to be here.
Great to host you. So, Akhil, let's begin with the basic thing. Okay, how do you want the session to be? You want it to be conversational, or you want to start the things, discuss, and then we want to take the questions? Or you want to have the questions in between itself?
I think we can make it very conversational. We can keep on taking
Definitely.
questions and take it that way.
Sure. So, audience, you heard it from the founder himself. Go for the all-in conversation. You keep your questions in the no mic section, and also you keep reacting to the conversation that we are having right now. It's fine, even if it's a joke, even if it's a emoji, you put it out there. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it up, and I am here to raise your voice. Well, let's get started. Yes, Akhil. So let's talk about your company. What does it do on a general perspective?
Yeah, so at Quest, we are our primary aim is to make education data driven. So it's like Google Maps for learning. Students keep on answering questions as a part of self practice or homework. When students answer these questions, we understand a lot of details about what students know or what they don't know. And once we understand their weakness and strength, we start to give them day by day strategy. One of the things that we understood in EdTech is that you have schools, universities on the left side, on the right side, you have all the like Byju's toppers and all the content or YouTube, Khan Academy, everything. But what you need to study today, no one tells you in a more personalized way, right? And you just pick up a book and start to learn anything that you want. So with Quest, what we are trying to do is understand where are you in the learning universe and give you day by day, step by step to do modules. Think of it like Wordle, that every day you get that these are the 5 things you need to do and you're done with your education for the day, and you keep on progressing in the right direction. So that's what we are trying to do at Quest. We launched around 12 months ago. Over 1.5 million kids are part of Quest Universe now, and over 500 million data points have been captured about the students' learning journey so far.
Beautiful. Those numbers are truly fascinating. Guys, have you heard those numbers? 1.5 million people are already in Quest. Well, okay, that's the value that has been provided to build a company in this level and building it under 12 months. Akhil, 12 months, right? Since you started the
Right.
company.
For
Yeah.
14. Yeah. This product
Okay,
14.
14. Yeah. So tell me, how did it all start? Like, where did the ideation process start? And let's talk about validation as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we started pre-pandemic, like 2 months before the pandemic. We started something called reallearning.in, which was a different product altogether. Uh, but the problem statement was that all over the world, teachers and professors invest huge amount of time in checking answer sheets, and the output of that process has no real insight. We keep on telling our students, you got 80 marks, B grade, 7 GPA, and none of none of that data point makes any sense, right? And I think most of you guys are students here, you would relate to this, that once you're told that you got a like 8 GPA or 80% marks, uh, it has no meaning at all, right? That data point has no meaning at all, because there are so many more weakness and strength that are captured about the students in the process of assessments. So that's where we started to understand, if we can digitize assessments, reduce the time for teachers, we can remove the concept of marks from the education system. So that was our motivation. That's what we started to build. Before pandemic, we for 2 months we built for like 3 to 4 months we built a product called reallearning.in, which was an AI based assessment system for teachers. And post pandemic, when everyone went online, we kind of just understood that all the assessments can happen online now. So we took like 6 to 8 months to create the new product, which was Quest, and that's where we launched. And because everything was online, the adoption was super fast, much more than what we expected. So that's how we started.
Akhil, just to sorry to interrupt, but can you tell me like how? I mean, what's the plan behind removing all, let's say, the grading points that we have right now? Because we as Indians, the only single metric that we look at is numbers. I mean, as exams. But how do we completely remove this?
Right. So first, let's understand why does it even exist, right? It exists because a human is measuring all of these data points. There's a teacher or a professor dealing with anywhere 40 to 200 kids, and in any assessment process, a student is evaluated on more than 100 data points, different concepts, different cognitive abilities, difficulty levels, etc. So when a teacher, a human, is managing these data points, just do a rough calculation of 40 into 100 data points for one assessment, and there are over like 20-30 assessments that have happened over the course of the year. A human is not capable of comprehending so many data points manually, right? So that is the only reason the marks exist in the system. Now everyone has gotten accustomed to that particular outcome because we have not known anything better. Think of it like how people were doing before technology, like people like you were really sending letters instead of emails, right? So that was a normal that was there, right? And that's similar to the analogy of marks. There are marks because people have not known better. So
Mm-hmm.
when we get data back in the system, we digitize the whole thing. Marks would become redundant, and we have seen this happening in a lot of cases.
Okay. So, okay, for ideation, as people say that look around, see the problems that are being faced. So, how would you explain someone to ideate better? I mean, it's not something to say, but how do you encourage someone to get into this in terms of starting a company, startup?
If you can then elaborate more on that, are you saying that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking about ideation process. So, how do we go ahead with, okay, we get an idea, and then
Right.
how do we get it validated?
Right. So I think in terms of ideation itself, when you get an idea, I think two things are very important. One is to look at things from like extreme first principles. Are you thinking it the right way? Are you approaching the whole problem solution set the way it exists, or you're looking at it from your own bias? That's the first point of starting up, I guess. Like, look at the construct of whatever you are approaching. It might be let's say grocery startup, or it can be food startup, or it can be AI, whatever it is. Just look at it from extreme first principles. I can talk more on first principles if needed, but that's the first step. Second, I think, is make sure that you are approaching a large enough market and the problem is real. Once these two things are there, then it makes sense to ideate the solution for the problem that you are approaching. If the market is not big, if the problem is not real, you'll end up spending a lot of time for things that very few people might or might not want. So I think these are three steps in which I would approach any new product. Yeah.
Got it. So, okay, with regards to ideation, I have a example, like, I mean, not really an example, an experience. Today, this morning, I've been having a conversation with a company whose product is basically, I mean, having a one-on-one mentorship sessions with people and validating their ideas. And they're charging an amount of 5,000 rupees an hour. And okay, what do you think about this? Getting validation from someone? Okay, what do you think? Should we get validated from an expert in the respective field or by a consultancy? Because it's a very generic thing that we found out there in the internet.
I might have a very controversial opinion on this, that I think no one knows anything. The moment you take the product out in the market, the users are going to tell you that it's needed or not. They are the experts in understanding they need the product or not. So if you look at a problem that looks real to you, an approach, they can kind of build what's a common phrase called MVP. Build the MVP and give it to them, and let them be the expert to judge that they need it or not, or take feedback from them and iterate to kind of come to the point where the solution that you have built solves the problem that you were trying to solve.
Got it. So that's exactly where my next question comes in. Talking about building a minimum viable product. In most of the cases, it might be easy, but not in every case, right? So in this point, there might be some amount, or let's say investment, that people will look up to. So what do you suggest? Is bootstrapping is what you suggest, or raising funds? Because there's a lot of controversy about people raising funds and people going bonkers with regards to raising money. What do you think about this?
I think if you can raise funds. And to be very honest, I know no one who can raise funds in the beginning would not raise funds if he is getting it from the right kind of an investor or right kind of the valuation and terms. So because if you raise funds, and you raise funds with institutional investors who understand how startup funding works, etc., you get a runway to really build the solution that you want to build. Because once you no MVP scales, right? No MVP really ends up becoming a product, like probably one out of 100,000 attempts. This would happen. No MVP really becomes the main business. So you need to keep on iterating before you start to get in the desperation of charging people for the product that's not the core business. So if you can raise money with institutional investors, where terms are right, the people are right, you must raise funds. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so after building,
to add to that, Chandan,
yes, I
you
can
should
go.
not be relying on funds to kickstart. You need to have the innate ability in the founders or in the team to build and ship. Without that, it's going to be very difficult, because it'll be difficult to raise funds as well. So don't be relying on the funds that will come in to build your startup, but have the innate capability of building it on your own.
Correct. So, okay, after we getting an idea with regards to MVP and then bootstrapping, or either greater chance of raising funds. So how do we go ahead with hiring the first few people? Because these are the bunch of people who, upon which the entire company's destiny is going to be in. So what's your comment upon this, Akhil?
Yeah, I think it is a function of two things. One, we're talking about super early stage. So probably just make sure that you have the capability of building and shipping, and you need to keep building and keep shipping. There are two kind of people required: either people who are building or people who are selling or shipping, whatever it is, depending on your startup, right? So before you have achieved like a solid PMF, don't hire anyone else. Just get the first less than 5 people where the team can build and ship. Once you have done that, then a lot of different things start to come in, and make sure you keep on, like, the two kind of approaches that start to happen. If you have achieved some level of PMF, then you start to look at a 3 month or a 6 months or a 9 month, 1, 2, 3 quarter view, and you have to start hiring people for solving for different stages. And there would be a second part where things start to break. When you start to ship, your code is breaking, people are asking for more features which are not able to build fast. So the fires start to happen in different directions. You need to hire people who can kind of switch off those fires. So that's how the first you have to approach the first set of hiring. Second important thing is that first 10 hires are extremely crucial they're going to define the culture for the next 100 people who are going to come in. So the founders need to make sure that there is a strong alignment with the first 10 people. Don't just hire someone where there is no cultural alignment, but they can do the job. Probably take them as consultants or freelancers to get the job done, but don't hire them. Don't make them a part of the team. Yeah.
Got it. So, okay, if we have freelancers in our team, they look at the small gigs. I mean, they look at the real-time gigs, right? In terms of the short-term contracts that might expire after just a small segment of the company, of a project. But how do
Yeah.
we, and I mean, get them the, let's say, momentum to keep working for a big vision that you or anyone has as a visionary of the company?
I think that you should not be expecting that from the freelancer because the incentives are not aligned. They're not there for the long run, so they should not be thinking long run. So freelancers are there to get the job done. You need to define what is the job that they need to get done and the price that you pay for that. So I don't think there is a need of strong alignment with the freelancers, but there has to be extreme crystal clear clarity in terms of what is the job that you need to get done uh, from the freelancer or consultant, and you pay for that because he has no incentive to think long term, right?
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, one point which goes along with raising funds and managing a team is where the idea of getting money out of the thing what we're building comes in. So, what do you suggest? What do you think about break even of 2-3 years that we have right now? I mean, it's getting expanded like right now to 5-6 years of break even. What's your comment upon this?
I think there are two kinds of business. This is an interesting one. There are two kinds, probably three different kinds of companies or even stages in the company. One that you need to just start making money to survive. You don't have an option. You have not raised funds, so you need to just make sure that the vehicle keeps moving. So you need to just be like make money from day zero. And a lot of people have done like one service business on the side and then the product business on the side. So service keeps on getting the money and you keep on building the product that you want to build. Second is where you haven't raised funds and you are a bootstrap startup. So, but you have some runway. Let's say you have really there less than 5 people working or only founders and you don't have like a lot of spends. So in that case, optimize for the runway. Uh, so make sure if it's a B2B startup, as soon as possible, get the first paying client who can keep the money flowing in, and for the rest of the clients, you keep on building more features. But if you have started to raise funds and if you've gone on a spree of, let's say, pre-seed, seed, series A, etc., then you need to make sure that you are monetizing it the right way, where the market is big enough. Because if you don't do that, you so let's say if you raise money at $100 million, you raise $20 million at a valuation of $100 million, and if in like a hurry to monetize, you start to monetize a feature or the part of market where the business is not more than $10 million as ARR, that's where you will really screw up uh, because you have raised more than what the market can pay, right? So and you have raised funds, the investors would be expecting ROI on that. So that would not happen. So you need to make sure that, okay, I have the capital, I have the runway, so I'll be patient enough to build what can be $100 million ARR business in the future. So if you have raised that kind of money, you need to make sure that and that's okay if you have runway for 3 years and you're saying that I'll monetize after 3 years or break even after 3 years. But when I monetize, I'll monetize it big. So I think that's the right approach. If that answers the question.
There's a network
Yeah,
discrepancy.
sure,
Yes.
Josh. There
What I
are
missed
some
was-
questions coming in. Should I take them right now or?
yeah. Let's take them. Your call. Would you want to give it some time or you want to take them right away?
Hi, Chandan, Yash, if you're there.
Yeah. Am I audible? Hello.
You're audible to me, huh? Sure. I think we can take the questions because, and if some question leads to a discussion, we can elaborate that.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully, I'm audible. Cool. So here's one question way back. People are asking about how to approach venture capitalists or angel investors to raise funds in the beginning.
Right. So I think there's some question about Quest as well. So I'll just give you a brief, guys. Quest is a Series A funded startup. We raised a seed round just before launching our product and seed last year in Series A last year in October. Uh, and someone asked about the employees. So we have around 60 employees in all working at Quest, working with Quest. And so Chandan, the question was, how do you approach the first set of angel investors, right?
Yes.
Right. So I think it's important to understand, guys, that a lot of pre-seed or angel round happen with the team itself. So two things actually: team itself, where people see that's a solid team. What they're trying to build right now seems interesting and can pivot in the direction where it can be a big business. But these guys are solid, so they just take the bet on people. 90% of the deals happen in this way. That where what we have started to call it now founder market fit. That these guys, let's say, have been building communities for last 3 years, and they're now going to do a startup which is community first or community led. So these are the right folks to do this. And so you need to make sure that there's a founder market fit. That's the first thing. Second, you need to understand that if you're talking about non-individuals, you're talking about micro funds, micro VCs who invest in pre-seed and they invest like 100K or 200K, that kind of check size. You need to make sure that you are solving for those investors. Investors are in the game to make a 10x exit, right? So businesses which are, a lot of time you would hear phrases like this business is not investable. So a lot of time people take services business as non-investable business because it can make like very strong cash flows for the founders and money for the founders, but it would not, in like typical case, would not give returns to the investors. So make sure that you're doing these two things right. There's a founder market fit, or there is a business or market which can give returns to the money that you are raising. How to approach them? I think there are probably two ways to go about it. There, first, someone in your circle is a great starting point. People who are your seniors, people who you can connect to by an introduction. So by an introduction is very, very important. Reach out to people, make connections, and ask them to connect to other people. So in terms of individuals, doing that is very important. Second, there are micro funds like Titan Capital, Better Capital, First Check, and probably 100x. There are 10 or 20 of those who have been very active in India in the last 2 years. Write to them and see how it goes. But cold emails generally don't work. Trying to get hold of someone by meeting them in event, by just connecting through someone, some friend of friend, etc., is a great starting point.
Got it. So what do you think about the elevator pitch? Do you think it's impactful, Akhil?
Oh, 100%. I think people have not got a lot of time to listen to the entire story. And you need to make sure that in less than 30 seconds, you are able to grasp the attention. And just make sure like this, that you don't need to tell the entire story there. You just need to get people excited. So in 30 seconds, can you get people excited to buy their next 2 minutes or 5 minutes? So it's very powerful.
Got it. So, okay, is the hook after that is exactly pitch deck? Do you agree or not?
So I think it's 30 seconds, then 5 minutes, then probably 20 minutes. And I think 20 minutes is more of a pitch deck thing. So
Right.
you're
Hmm.
in, let's just follow the process. You are in the elevator, you met an investor, and in like 20 seconds, you talked, I'm building the largest social network in the world. Okay, now that makes sense. And then you would want, the guy would say, okay, tell me more. We are building the largest social network in the world where we have around 100,000 active users, and they are spending over 30 minutes on a site. Okay, this is very, very cool. Let's understand this in like a lot of detail. I think the third step is the pitch deck.
Got it, got it. So, Akhil, what's your call upon making a pitch deck? Do you want a lot of sheets, a lot of numbers to be in there, or a lot of story? Which one do you give a lot of prominence to?
It's always story. So I think if you are not a Series B startup, uh, it's all the story that's there, because people are not expecting you to talk about numbers, build products, and if people are expecting that at seed stage, I don't think that's a very right way to look at it, because there are a lot of pivots before you stumble upon that business, which is going to be extremely huge. So so it's all the story in which you should cover how, what is the problem that you're solving, how big is the market for that, what is the unique approach you have got to take over that market, and why are you the right guys to build it. That's it. I don't think that anything else is needed in a pitch deck. Yeah.
Got it, got it, got it. So, Akhil, you just mentioned the idea of pitching, right? Telling a story. So, for the audience, here's a thing for you. Yash, can you put the link on the chat? Okay, we are actually holding an investor session where you can just come up with an idea. It doesn't matter what stage you're in. Even if you just have a basic, uttermost basic idea, you can just go ahead with the idea and present it to the judges. Here it's not a competition, so it's not a judging thing. It's about these are real venture capitalists, these are real VC fund where they are looking to invest big in your early stage startups. So it's a great opportunity. All you need to do is just to participate in that, fill in the form, pretty simple, and add a PPT if you have. I mean, really appreciate if you can show something on screen. And if you want to prove your creativity, there is always a space for your video. So yeah, make a video about like what what your product or service is going to be about, and what is the problem that you're trying to solve. So yeah, there you go. Grab the opportunity, pull your sleeves back, and get this started. Okay, guys, what do you think about this? Can I see yes in the chat? Can I see yes in the chat? Okay. Okay. Akhil, so we can resume with the questions.
Sure. Do you want to take up a question, Chandan? Then
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. So here's a question from someone. So if we have a great idea and want to build an app, but there is no technical ideas. So okay? So when the founders don't really have technical expertise, what should they do? Is it all freelancing, or should we give a specific amount of stake to someone who has technical expertise?
yeah, I think two things. If your idea is like pure tech, then you must get a tech co-founder. There is no substitute of that. But if your idea is not pure tech, it's tech supported. Let's say selling vegetables online. Okay, so you have a lot of operations that's related with the whole process. There are a lot of supply chain and stuff. There, the consulting or freelance model definitely works, because it's an e-com that you're building, and there are a lot of templates to build that. So you can do that. But if it's a pure tech, it's just not possible to build that without having a tech co-founder. It's tech first, then also it's very good to have a tech co-founder or a very early tech member in the team. But the thing can still go out and get a PMF even when there is no tech co-founder. So understand which in which side do you guys are, like whoever is building the startup. Is it a pure tech? Pure tech means, let's say Facebook is pure tech, right? And Licious or Flipkart is not pure tech. It is pure tech, but it has a lot of other moving parts as well. So you can get to a PMF stage without even having the tech co-founder. Third thing, if you are not a tech guy but you're trying to build something, make sure you understand product at least, right? How are products built? What are the different funnels? What are the flows, etc., etc. So at least get the core understanding of product management if you are building a tech startup and you're not a tech founder, because that will help you understand what is the time that is going to take, what is the complexity of the thing that is being built. You don't need to understand the code itself, but if you understand how your application is going to work under the hood, if someone clicks on that buy button, what will happen under the hood. I think those are the things that you must be knowing and must be learning in any case. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Akhil, so this is one of the common questions that we ask every single guest of us. So here we go. What's your point of view on Web3? Is it gonna stay, or I mean, is it a fad, or is it a bubble, or is it a big term game? And will every startup is gonna get into Web3, or is it gonna be in a mid stage of Web2 and Web3? We're talking about a time of next 5 years.
Yeah, I think Web3 is too broad a term to comment on different things. There are different parts of Web3 that are going to be extremely long term. The technology that enables you to decentralize a specific organization is going to last long, where the creator economy is going to be the first thing, first place of disruption. Creator economy, games, a product around distributed games. I think these are the things that are definitely going to be decentralized. Yeah, but I don't think every company is going to be decentralized, and we can chat more on that. But yeah, the technology is definitely going to impact certain sectors much more than the other sectors, and it's going to be there forever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got it, got it. So Akhil, as a founder and as a constant hustler in the field, so what is one thing that really excites you? Something that gets you out of the bed and run to build something. What is that one thing?
Yeah, if I have to like put it in one phrase or one sentence, it's the possibility of creating impact at scale. Yeah, so if it's
Okay,
not creating huge impact, or if it's not, it cannot create the impact at scale, then that's not exciting enough. Yes, that's
okay,
how I
okay,
frame it for myself.
okay, okay. So for the people who are asking me about the fund, so basically it's a company called Arthelix. And so please go through the form. You will find a lot more information about the company, and there is their company's website. So that would be pretty simple to just go through it, and you'll get all the information that you're looking for. So, guys, at the same time, put in your questions. We are taking them rapidly.
So then there is a
And
question by Ayush. I would want you to
okay,
like elaborate on that question, how edtech will possibly be affected by Web3. So Ayush, if you can elaborate, what part of Web3 are you talking about? You're talking about decentralization, you're talking about cryptocurrencies, you're talking about metaverse. Uh,
he's talking about courses.
talking about courses. Yeah, so if you're talking about, let's say a place where different course creators can come and sell the or give the product to the users, yes, that space can definitely be decentralized, and will be affected by Web3. So there are aspects. So like courses can be impacted in this way. Yes, like how YouTube is a centralized repository of all the courses, a lot of courses, but the creators don't make money. So if you can create a platform where different creators can create courses and sell in a more decentralized way and can be empowered with that, that's going to be a disruption for courses in context of edtech.
Got it, got it.
NFT as a completion reward, maybe I think that's a longer discussion. Why would someone else want to value that NFT if it is given to someone who is, so if you can only mint this NFT but not buy it, then that NFT has no value in the open market, and hence it would be a non-fungible token but of no value. You can only mint it, not buy it, if you're understanding what I'm saying. So yeah.
Yes, so guys, you can go ahead with your questions. And Akhil, so what are some of the sources that you have to get the industry first information in terms of anything, in terms of trends, or in terms of something new in the field? Uh, are there any websites that you look up to every day?
No, Chandan, I don't think so. If I have to look at one specific, let's say if I have to look at metaverse, right? So I cannot
Mm-hmm.
look at one specific source to understand
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
So on any particular topic, you'll probably have to look at uh, tens of things. But I think what the process that I follow is I keep on accumulating information from various sources. Once I have enough information where there is no information arbitrage that's left, I try to read that information and process it through first principles. That is what's making sense, what's not making sense, and then try to create a construct of uh, what's going to happen. Yeah.
Got it, got it, got it. So, yeah, that sounds okay. Akhil, do you check out this website called The Verge?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you follow this creator called Johnny Harris, who worked previously at Vox, Borders, if you know him?
Uh, doesn't ring a bell. I might have read
Okay.
the articles, but yeah.
Yeah. So he's one of those, for the audience as well, he's one of those amazing people that you must definitely check him out. He also has his YouTube channel where he does thorough research about like social, political, economical, geopolitical, anything. And also entrepreneurial as well. His name is Jonathan Harris, and that's the name of a YouTube channel as well. Johnny Harris is what I remember. Yeah, definitely should check it out. And okay. What more questions do we have? Okay, Akhil, what do you think about? Okay, this is a quick thing. Not, I would want you to answer this not as a founder or not as someone in the field of edtech. What do you think about the giant Byju's? So, at the pace at which it has been acquiring companies, at acquiring brands, where do you see the big picture of the company as a monopoly?
Interesting one. So I think it has definitely gone very, very far by acquiring companies like Akash, and there's a news that will come out soon that they've acquired a very big
You mean
US
check?
company. Yeah. Tech is also there. So they've acquired a lot of these assets which have a very, very strong PMF and are solving real problems. So they've been like master businessmen, one and master salespeople as well, and the practices can definitely be questioned. So they have enough deep assets now which are used by people in daily life. So their primary product, even if the primary product usage goes down, and the valuation resets or something of that sort happens, but definitely it's going to stay for a long relevant for a very, very long time because of the kind of buying spree that they have done.
Do you associate Byju's to be Facebook 2015?
No, I don't, because there was a very, very strong retention with
Hmm.
Facebook, with the user, and the product that they were buying also were kind of had so deep network effects that you cannot just mimic that or create that. I don't think Byju's has that. Yeah.
Okay. So here's another question. So once we are getting funds from the VC or angel investors, what is that profit and who is the decision maker? And okay, so how do they make the call upon investing? So we talked about the fit as well. Okay, what is the average number in which they want to see the returns in?
So it's very interesting, and then you can have one VC also come in and talk about those things. But there is a very specific math that at least institutional funds run. They raise a fund and they run like a 7-year cycle on that. So depending upon which part of the cycle you are raising funds from those investors, that's the time period they will be expecting returns for their LPs. So it's generally a 7-year cycle where they have to see the returns, and they don't have to see the returns only from your startup. They have to see it from the entire portfolio. So what they would do is write off some of the investments. Some investments would become 1x, some would become 20x, but they will be able to liquidate that by exit, and some would probably become 50x or 100x, and they will stay invested. So it's generally 7 years, but it has different layers to that as well, in which they want to see returns. Yeah.
Understood. So after every 7 years, there will be an audit based upon which holding or liquidating depends upon. Am I correct?
I don't. It's not like broadly 7-year cycle where they
Okay.
look at the positionings in their different portfolio companies. They don't take
Okay.
the decision of liquidating or not based on that, but they keep on, like when they invest, they have this thing in mind that after 7 years, what is the entire return for my fund going to look like?
Got it. Akhil, so here's another question that even I had from a lot of time. Do the degree of a college from which we graduate, does it matter? So someone in the audience have been asking about IIT Bhubaneswar is what I believe. Yeah. So does the IIT tag from a respectable institution matter when we are raising funds? I mean, does it make an impact? Yeah, sorry, IIT Bombay.
Yeah, so it does. I think two things. And if you look at it yourself, right? If you are going to work, there are two different people, and both have done the task in the same way, and all the conversations have been happening in exactly the same way. There are two people who you are measuring in the exactly same way, 10 on 10 or 5 on 10 in different aspects, and but you have only one opening that where you can take that person in. However bad or stupid it might sound, there might be a bias towards the person who has cleared one examination in the past or has worked at, let's say, a bigger company, etc. So that acts as a bonus if everything else is equal. But if you can uh, like become better at certain things,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you can, then I don't think it matters. So while
Okay.
raising funds also, if your product is better than someone from a different college, it matters less. If the market that you are approaching and the way you are approaching that market is bigger, and the problem is more real than someone from IIT Bombay, it matters less. So yeah, I think that's how it works.
Okay, so uh, Akhil, here's a question for you. You'd be a great person to answer this. My software, which is in a SaaS model, is a product of my startup. Okay, it will take more than 8 months to build it on my own. So should I raise funds first, or should I take the time, make profit? I mean, make the software first, MVP, and then do I need to go for the raising of investment?
Right, Pavan. So I think if you can build it without raising, then that's great because the markets are also like pretty shaky right now. So if you can build it without raising, then definitely build it while keep on talking to uh, angels or investors without really that being a make or break point. But if you cannot build it without raising funds, then channelize all your energy in first making sure that you have enough runway where you and the team can survive for 8 months and can build that product. Then first, before even writing a lot of code, just focus on making sure that you create that kind of runway for yourself.
Absolutely. So, okay, here's a quick question. What are 4 books that you've read, and what would you recommend to young people? Akhil. Also add in documentaries as well.
Right. So I think in context of startups, I think two books in Indian context which were really good was by this VC called Rahul Chandra, The Moonshot Game. It'll give you like a broad view of how VCs think when they approach a particular startup, investing in a particular startup. Uh, there's another by Harpreet from CoCubes. I'm forgetting the name of that book. Let me just search. Just a second. Uh, Give me 1 second. Let's build a company. Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Beg your pardon?
Okay,
Yeah,
what he
sure,
means
sure.
is, yeah. So, audience, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand and we'll bring you onto the stage.
Yeah, so Chandan, to your last question, one is the Moonshot Game, and
Okay.
second is Let's Build a Company by Harpreet. Hard Thing About Hard Things is another great read that you can have, and I think reading this book called *Sapiens* is also very good while building things because you start to understand why people do what they do,
Okay.
and you start with that kind of thinking. So I think these are 4 books that I would recommend.
Okay, out of those, I've been doing 2. One is Hard Things About Hard
Yeah,
Things, and the other one is Sapiens.
yeah,
So, yeah, definitely, I totally agree with you. Why people do this in this way.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Another book that I've found like really helpful for myself was Why We Sleep. What all happens when you sleep and how to become like a much more evolved version of yourself by just sleeping in the right when sleeping more was an unknown thing to me. So Why We Sleep is another by Matthew Walker, I guess. Was a very good read in last 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, so So these two books plus the Moonshot Game. What's the other book?
Uh, Let's Build a Company by Harpreet
Let's
Grover.
Build a Company. Right. Okay. So, okay, for the people who are asking about how BlueLearn makes profit, okay, so it's not really like making profit. We are still in the we are still before the break-even point. So, yeah, we are in the process of building a community where we want to be the space for people to discuss, meet, and so yeah, you're gonna hear a pretty big news from BlueLearn pretty soon. Pretty soon. Um, so yeah, our product is gonna be out very soon. So yeah, can't be much more excited than we really want you all to be a part of that as well. So yeah, that is about it. And in the meantime, you can raise your hand and we'll bring you onto the stage and you can talk to Akhil. Okay. Yes, we have a request from PG. PG, I've sent you the request. You can accept it and be here on stage. Okay. Okay, in the meantime, Gaurav, yes. Hello, PG.
Hello.
Gaurav, just one sec. Let's just talk to PG. PG, okay, what's your name?
Hello.
Yeah, PG, we can hear you now. Yes, go ahead with your question.
Oh, hi, Chandan. Hi, Akhil.
Hi, Vijay.
My question is about execution. Many of the founders talk about execution, but I don't understand what it exactly mean and how do we go about it.
Uh, are you trying to build any startup?
Yeah, I'm about to launch my MVP.
Okay. So just launching the MVP is execution of the thought, right? So I'll just take an example. Let's say if you get an idea that and I'm talking about this company called Redbus, which started around 12 years ago. So there was no bus ticketing website. You understand there's no bus ticketing website, and buying tickets for buses is a pain. So that's the idea that you got. Now you need to execute a way to enable people to buy these bus tickets, and all the things that you would do in the process to solve the problem comes under the head of execution. Be it technology, be it operations, be it making deals, everything comes under the realm of execution.
Thank you, Akhil.
Yeah, PG.
Okay, we can go to the next person. So, okay, wait, I remember. Okay. I think he left. Okay, he can be back. Cool. Next, let's go to Athar.
Hello. Hello, Chandan.
Yes, PG.
I can't find the chat. Where is that?
Okay, it's on the left. It's on the left. It's called No Mic section with a monkey logo on it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Welcome.
I think that there
Okay,
are a lot of
Atharva.
questions which are there on no mic. Do you want me to take them one on one, like one by one?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just like try to be super quick with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, let's do that.
yeah.
Athar,
Athar
what's
is
your
going to
question?
ask a question. Yeah.
So my question was that is it possible to build a startup with zero or very less money?
Uh, 100% it's possible, Atharv. It's very, very possible. Just make sure that when you have zero or very less money, the only thing you're optimizing for is money. When you're building this startup, so you should not be optimizing for anything else apart from money if you don't have money, right? Because if you're trying to solve a problem or build any product or build a startup, uh, which is, and every company, every product, every service, every startup is going to take time. How do you buy time? By money, right? By having money. So when you're starting up with zero money, make sure you can sell something either to angels or investors so that you get money, or to one client who can keep the who can keep paying the bills. It's 100% possible. A lot of people have done it. Just make sure that that's the only thing you solve for when you start, and you don't solve for anything else.
Thank you, Akhil.
My pleasure, Atul.
Yes, Akhil. Yeah. Akhil, so if you find any questions in specific, you can just go ahead with them.
Yeah, I think I'll just scroll up and try to take as many as possible. Just a second. I think Muskan asks how to do market research. I think an important one, you must do market research and well market research before you launch any product, or even jump into saying that this is the startup that I'm going to build. How to do market research? Try to understand what are the parallel companies that have been built in the market. So there are 2-3 aspects that then you can start to look at. But a good starting point is to look at what are the parallel companies in the market and what have they been able to build, how big that is, what is the average revenue from each client, and different things. So look at the parallel companies in this space who have been there for 10-15 years. That'll give you a good idea. How to hire good talent. Everyone is trying to find answer for this, but I think in early stage you have to keep selling what you're doing, and the early stage people who are going to join you, make sure that they're joining you for the passion for what you're trying to build. So keep selling the way you have to sell to your clients, the way you have to sell to your investors. Keep selling it to the prospective colleagues. Bootstrap is best, Mohit. Okay. Validation. How to proceed further if we have only one idea? Only idea and skills required are advanced one. Yeah, so learner asked this question. I think learner, it's important to learn those skills. That's one. Second, make sure that there is a founder market fit. Then if you think that, okay, I have an idea of going to Mars, but you don't have the skills to go to Mars, so it would not really mean anything. You need to have some specific thing that sets you out to build that kind of startup, and that you can build those skills if possible. But if you think that going to Mars is my idea, if I go to Mars I can set multi-planetary species, but you don't have the skills, then you cannot do it. So you either just bring something differentiating on the table, so that other people who have other skills can join you in. Please say something more about bootstrapping plus VC angels. I think 2 things. Just make sure how big this company can be. If this company can be like super big, then raising funds makes a lot of sense. But if it cannot be, then bootstrap. Also, either bootstrapping or VC angels, solve for runway first. Make sure that you have 10 months of, you are arranging for 10 months of money in bank. It can either by selling services, selling one product to one big B2B client, or raising some funds. Bootstrap or VC, make sure you solve for runway first. How to reach an angel investor? Ask for first. Try to get a warm intro to them, how education is going to work in Web3. I think metaverse is a very, very interesting space. We are also working on some of the metaverse for education kind of things, where people can, where gaming can help them learn, and it can become like a decentralized space where different creators can come and create games or courses which anyone can just go and buy. So I think metaverse for learning is going to, or Roblox for learning, that's going to be a big space. PMF question mark. Sorry. How Web3 will affect institutional education institution, how to reach it, how to manage team, how to proceed further if we have only one idea. How many employees Quest have, but freelancers also want to take their journey to something big. That's why they are freelancer to gain hands-on experience. 100%. I think your question came from the point that I said that freelancers don't have incentives to understand the long-term vision of the company they're working with. The reason that I said this, that freelancer is not going to engage for a long term with the company. So they would not be having ESOPs, they would not be invested over a period of time with your failures, with your successes, etc., etc. They don't have incentives. They definitely will do something big, and they can do big, much more bigger than a lot of startups. But I was just talking about the incentives of long-term win of a particular startup. What do you think about C2B startups? Can you explain what C2B is? Who asked this? Just still, can you explain me what do you mean by C2B? People or community selling their products to companies. Why do you think about C2B? Is it community to business? I'm not aware of this term. Are there any existing? Oh yes. What do you think? Got it. Okay. Will be social emotional skill learning be demanded in future? Yeah, if you can sell it in the right way. How do you make profits using BlueLearn? Okay. Top books. Cool. I think something about managing financial and distribution funds to various fields like research and marketing. Uh, So, Shloka, if just make sure that the allocation of funds is very interesting topic. Even if you are like bootstrapping, just make sure that the allocation of funds in different directions. What is invested in building the product? What is invested in distribution? Make sure that you are defining the milestones clearly and working backwards to allocate these funds.
Akhil, just to ask, like, how long do you have right now?
I think I'll have like 10 more minutes.
Sure. We can go ahead with the process. So, Akhil, this is a quick question. As building a startup, what do you see as the right way of marketing right now? So, I mean, there's a lot of influencer being driven right now. And before, okay, do you still think Facebook's Facebook only marketing is still relevant? I'm not talking about Instagram, only Facebook.
I think depends on the market segment. If you are targeting, let's say, tier two, 40-year-old, 40 plus people to buy your product, I think they're still engaging on Facebook, and your product, if it's relevant to them, market it on Facebook. If not, then Facebook definitely is not the right ROI place. So wherever your users are, right? If your users are on Twitter and they're intellectual class and like, sorry for like intellectuals are everywhere, but Twitter where people are like talking more about a specific cohort. Understand where your users are. If they're on LinkedIn, if they're on streets, they're looking at hoardings. So wherever your users are, let's say Freshwork would not market on LinkedIn or Facebook. It would market on hoardings in front of IT parks, right? Because they have B2B clients. So wherever your users are marketed there.
Got it. Another question. So, if someone's pioneering into a new field that no other company hasn't even started yet, what should be their North Star metric to get it going?
What do you think? Just repeat that again, Chandan.
Sure. If someone's pioneering or getting into a new business, like completely different sector, what should be one thing they should look at? How to keep it surviving?
How to keep it surviving by having money in bank, uh, but how to really build like solve the problem
Yeah.
by by focusing on PMF. Everything else is noise. Just making sure the product that you're building will be used by the people the way you want to solve the problem. If that's not happening, keep on iterating product, keep on taking feedback, and end up achieving the PMF. You guys
Akhil,
are
so a lot of people are asking, what is PMF?
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone asked what is MVP as well, and I'm sorry for this.
No, I answered that.
Got it. So it's a product market fit. What the market wants and what is your product giving? Both of these things have like matched with each other. So if your product has fit the market that you are trying to break into, it can be a very small subset of the market, but that's called PMF. So in a large enough market, if you achieve PMF and you can show PMF or product market fit with a very small segment of that, that is the best position to raise funds as well. Because now you have built something and proven that a large enough market is going to buy your product. So anyone would want to invest in you to scale that from a small niche to the entire market. Does that answer the question? Or Naval says product market founder fit. Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you find this kind of terms? Yeah, I think someone mentioned start following Naval and a lot of startup folks on Twitter. You'll keep on seeing these things.
Okay, so Akhil, before we end the session, would you want to say something?
Yeah, I think if this community, the people we are talking to are focused on startups that either wanting to build one, join one, or are just in general excited about it, uh, then just make sure that you solve for like two, three things. One is don't start to implement the first idea that you get. Do a strong market research, get enough understanding about why is this is the right thing to build before starting to build it. Don't seduce yourself with the idea that you have got. Look at it very, very critically, pragmatically, and try to understand you're taking right decisions or not. Third, approach everything that you see from first principles. First principles is equal to fundamental truth, that you are not imbibing any of the biases around it. You are just looking at the fundamental truth of that market and problem construct. And yes, and then look at be very, very intellectually honest to yourself, to your team members, to everyone around, and attract people who are intellectually honest and are trying to build something huge with you. So just like a few points that I wanted to mention.
Definitely, Akhil. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming. Uh,
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you, Praveen.
yes. So, guys, how was the session? So, if you liked it, can I see a yes? Okay, number one in the chat. Can I see number one in the chat? Guys, faster. Okay. Guys, I really want you all to be super active in the chat. Akhil, if you're seeing the chat, that's the love that this community has to you.
That's great to see. BlueLearn has built like a massively good community. I'm also learning how to run these communities from you guys right now. That's a great thing to see.
Absolutely, Akhil. There's a lot we can collaborate upon, and hopefully, we can have a lot more sessions like this that are knowledge filled.
Yeah. I'll also love to share my email ID here if anyone wants to have more discussion around anything. Would love to answer the questions there. Just
Yes,
feel
yes,
free. Don't think about anything. If you have any question that I can answer for you guys, please mail me. Would love to answer those things.
yes. Thank you, Akhil. Thank you so much. Again, thanks for spending time here at BlueLearn, and we are honored to host you today. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Anil. Thanks, Yash. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
And one thing again. So, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about startups a lot. And if you really want to be the next big founder, if you want to get your idea validated, if you want to be a part of the startup pitch tank that we are having in just a few days, so the link is in the description and you can just go for it, register yourself, and there you are raising funds. So, yeah. Well, thanks so much, Akhil, for coming. And my name is Chandan Perla, and along with me is Yash. And this is the entire BlueLearn team, and we are building probably the most productive community in the country. So, yeah, let's get started. And this is just the beginning, a lot more coming. See you in the next one. Thank you all. See you again.